CA's office. In fact, this morning, while I was present and while I was listening to Rafiq sir, he was impressing upon the need to change. For all the chartered accountants, there was a great thrust he put to change. In fact, I just recalled some of the thoughts that when we joined as an article students, I think it was 1993, these computers were being introduced to CA officers, and of course, largely to all these multinational companies. The computerization was the buzzword. Every critical processes were computerized at that particular point of time. And, Pentium 486 was what was, used at that particular point of time. And if you look at that entire 90s, there was a huge thrust that was given on computerization. Then came the era of, ERPs during 2000s and 2000 to 2010. The era of ERPs where all the critical processes, ERP was implemented and they were integrated together to make it as enterprise resource planning. And the best part is, 1 decade took for computerization, another decade took, the ERPs and all. Presently we have, we don't have any officers who don't have computers or laptops. Presently we have a system where you have computers, you have softwares, and huge amount of data is being collated in these softwares. So therefore, what do we do with this data? So that is a very important, significant aspect. There are two aspects that we have to understand. Even while we audit our financial statements, these enterprises are bloated with data. They are bloated with data. Financial tally is also one of the data. Like that, there are many data that is captured in various departments of an organization. So it has led to what is called as pandemic, called as info obesity in an organization. So you and I are auditing info obese organizations where the likelihood of frauds and errors in these obese organizations, info obese organizations, is likely to get concealed. So therefore, how is that we are going to see that these things, frauds and errors are not concealed, right? So in fact, we need to have therefore what is called as this analytics, which I'm sure this morning a lot of deliberation has gone into this analytics part of it. In fact, before I begin, the need for change, I think I was just going through one of the BBC, I think National Geographic thing, and one video really captured my attention, so I thought I'll share that video before I commence this particular session. In fact, this is exactly the cusp at which we chartered accountants are there. In fact, I'm going to demonstrate in a couple of slides going forward how a traditional way of doing work has changed phenomenally. One of the things you and I, we do is revenue assurance. When we audit, we are going to say, yes, revenue is captured properly, expenses are accounted properly is one of the comfort we give, right? Opinion about the financial statements we give, right? Let's say, organization like Amazon, organization like Flipkart, which has every second, millions of transactions that happens worldwide, they're going to come to one of you and say, hey, look, worldwide so many transactions are happening to me. I just want to ensure that all the transactions are captured. I want assurance from you. How many of us are here who can say, yes, I can do this work? If the answer to this question is no, seriously we have to think the way we are doing our business, the way we are doing our profession. How many of you are in a position to say, yes, I am ready to do audit of one of these software companies, cloud-based companies? How many of us are here who can say that, yes, I'll be able to do this? So it's very important for us that these questions, if the answer is yes, I think you have to pat yourself. If the answer is no, I think seriously we have to think about our own existence, survival. Gone are the days, the practice scenario in 1990 was far different from 1980s. And practice scenario today is very different from practice scenario of 1990s. And you know that those hardbound ledgers, those color pencils, calculators, all those things we were carrying for audit. How many of the article students carry all those things today? They don't. Forget about all those things. Today when we have to get up, we put an alarm in mobile. You remember that one round clock we used to have once upon a time, round, which we used to use it for putting alarms. How many times we use it today? How many times we have gone to the post office to post that letter? I think it looks like it's some era, right? It was not very far. Just 10 years back we were doing all these things. So therefore, it's important, therefore, even the expectation of the regulators, expectation of the people around us has changed. Earlier, they were asking us to give a comfort as to the financial statement, true and fair view. Today, SA has changed. It says we have to comment on risk arising out of material misstatement, arising out of a fraud and error. We need to comment on it. And the risk you have to comment. How? Is it possible by doing only sample checking? Not possible. If 12 months data is there and if you say that 3 months data I see and come to a conclusion, come to opinion, not possible because there is a possibility that fraud and error is there in rest of the 9 months. So what is the way out? Way out is 100% we have to verify. Is it possible then an organization, large organization, 100% verification? Yes, it is possible. It is possible because today we have those softwares, we have those computers, machines which are very robust. Yeah, it is possible for us to do 100%. So therefore, we need to integrate our, whatever work we are doing, we need to integrate a technology into it and see the magic that happens, right? So that's what they say, change is the only constant in existence. To grow, change we must. And that which does not grow, that which does not change does not grow, and that which does not grow, they say, it dies, right? So, look, we have come from far from that, a human being who invented a wheel to a human being who invented foldable iPhone. The question is, the technology has moved this far. Where do you want to be in this technology, in this move, right? The question, therefore, obviously, we have to ask is, yeah, why is that we need this IT? What is that is all about IT we are talking about, right? Today, if you look at the client expectation from chartered accountants has undergone a change. Regulators' expectation has undergone a change. But the way we do our work, audit, has not undergone a change. If we keep doing same thing, we keep getting same results. But the results what we are expected of has changed. So the way what we have to do the work has to undergo a change. If we keep doing what we've been doing and expect a different result, is an insanity. So expectation has changed. So therefore, how we do the work, what we have been doing, has to undergo a change to achieve a different result. Right? Today's client expectation, gone are the days where client, because he was my father's client, and so therefore he comes and folds his hands and stands before you. No, I don't think those kind of clients you find today. He sees he has been today making this his business 100 crores and tomorrow he has grown to 1000 crores. Have you grown in your capacity? You had one office. Have you multiplied it into 10 office? You had one partner. Have you become a 10 partner organization? There was a technology which he has integrated. He wants to know whether you have understood the technology, what he has integrated to his business. See, if all answers to all these things are yes, then probably he'll continue with you. Otherwise, obviously he'll say bye. I don't think there is that kind of a loyalty is there. Just because you are a chartered accountant of my father, therefore I'll continue with you. I don't think that we can expect. And as I said, there is an increasing demand for these specialized services, which I'm going to show you some of the specialized services that they expect. Simple example that one of the client wanted us to do was, he was a professional. He was an IT professional. And he was earning in, about more than 3-4 crores he was earning as an IT professional. But his aspiration was, look, Sachin, I can't, for whatever 4 crores I earn, and it's an individual capacity, I can't hire a chartered accountant, I can't hire an accountant, not necessary for me to do it. But can you devise something, where on a real-time basis I can see what is happening, what is my accounts, where I stand, what is my net profit, what is the cash balance, what is outstanding, from whom I have to receive how much, and whom I have to pay. On a real-time basis, can you make me, can you achieve this? It's easy for us to achieve it if there is a accountant and who is sitting and entering at the end of the day. But the request from this IT professional was, it's on a real-time basis. As the transaction happens, is it possible to update the accounts? I said, yes, possible, we can do it. And the challenge for him is, no, don't expect me to invest in huge softwares. I will not. Look at the riders. He wants on a real-time basis. He doesn't want to invest in huge softwares. We said, certainly we will be able to satisfy you. What we did was very simple. We had a tally we have, and we can always take that remote access. We gave him the remote access to see what is there in tally. We had editing option. And as he goes to, let us say, a hotel, he has a coffee, and he after meeting with the clients, having coffee and dinner, and he gets a bill. And what we asked him to do is, the minute he enters into any transaction, he has to simply take the photo of that bill, or any financial transaction that happens, take a photo of that bill or invoice, put it into Dropbox. He put that into Dropbox. And what happens? One person was assigned in my office. Sitting at my office, the minute there is a Dropbox, there is a notification that comes. So Mr. X and Y, so Dropbox, this thing has come. The minute Dropbox notification comes, this gentleman opens the Dropbox, sees what the transaction is, and immediately updates in his tally. By the time he comes out of office, by the time he comes out of hotel, his transactions are updated. On a real-time basis, he knows what is his cash balance, how much it is payable, receivable, what is his sales, everything on a real-time basis, almost on a real-time basis, almost. Is it something which you and I don't, which you don't know that I'm saying? Absolutely, you know this. Dropbox, what is required is that mindset to change and adopt and say that it is possible. The more you resist, you cannot integrate it. You will have to start loving the subject. How much it takes? Believe me, just 25 hours you are able to spend on this technology. I'm not asking you to do too much. Just 25 hours in a week. I mean, to begin with, I'm saying. Just to begin with. 25 hours in first 1 week if you are able to spend. Believe me, thereafter it is very easy for you to pick up. 25 hours for somebody to change, I think it should not be a good. I mean, it's not a big time, right? In fact, if you look at that is a kind of a increasing specialized services clients are expecting. And if you were to say that, no, at the end of the day I do it, at the end of 1 week I do it, probably that client is not interested because he is tech savvy client. Can you say that you are also tech savvy? There's a new emphasis on pricing and a value. You know, once upon a time we used to go with pricing of, on an ad hoc basis, some pricing for a services. And then we evolved ourselves to say that every hour we spend, we want to charge you so much. Client is not ready to pay you for every hour. He sees what is the value I have derived out of your service. Is there a value? He doesn't mind paying you that amount. If he finds that only you are signing a financial statement, I'm sorry, given a choice, let us be very frank. I mean, because all of us are chartered accountants, let us be very frank. Given a choice, who would like to get their financial statement signed by a chartered accountant if it was not a law? If there was no law, who would like to come to us to get it? While if you can give them a value-added services there, if you can show value arising out of these same financial data, yes, he is ready to come. For example, we did one of the audit in one of the GCC countries, and then there we had, it was an internal audit. It was an internal audit. And one of the observation, amidst many of the observation, one of the observation we were able to do it thanks to this analytics is that we said, how many products are there in a bakery? It was a bakery, chain of bakeries, shops. How many items are there in his bakery shops, chain of shops, which are more than 1 year old? Bakery shop, more than 1 year old. They said there won't be anything. But then when we gave them the data saying that, hey, look, so many are there. And they had to immediately, that managing director sitting there, he jumped out of his seat, and because it was illegal in that country, it is illegal to have something more than 1 year in a bakery item. It's not, their license would be seized. In fact, they jumped out of it and they went around and they found that yes, those were there in the stock. Right? So therefore, these are the value additions, these are the value that client is looking at today. Can you give this value by doing a traditional way of accounting? Impossible for you to do it. Because what we have, it's human mind, there is a limitation to what, at the end of the day, what we can think and what we can perceive. No doubt what we can do is something different, but what we can perceive, there is a limitation. But there is what is called as human intelligence plus machine intelligence, which is called as artificial intelligence, is a miraculous combination. The pattern reading, which Mr. Babu Jayendran was talking about, not possible for you and I to perceive looking at only the data. That pattern is impossible. But can you put it on a, some system, some software tools? Then you can see that pattern. Then you can make sense out of that particular pattern. Yeah? So therefore, it is a human intelligence plus machine intelligence. It's a miraculous combination. Are you ready to integrate that? That's the question we have to ask. Today, clients have more options to choose from, right? Today, clients do not come because somebody referred. Very less. Can you believe they go to the Google and say, leading chartered accountants in Kolkata. They'll get first 10 names. Possibly, if your name is there in first 10, they're likely to come to you. Even if somebody has referred, they do their own homework before they come to you. how well you are prepared to face this challenge. Not only this, not only your client, if it is a big client, there are other firms which are prospecting to take him. And this client, as I said, if you are not coming up to his expectation, there is likelihood that, he may leave you and go to some other firms. Right? Service expectations are driven by, for clients, service expectation today are driven by other consumer-based experiences. Today, sitting at the cozy comforts of a room in his house, he is able to order for his laptop. He is able to order for his clothes. He is able to do everything sitting at the cozy comforts of his bedroom. Now, for all the things, the only place he has to step out is only to Chartered Accountant's office to sign. He doesn't want to come to you. Now, can you elevate yourself and say that, don't worry boss, you don't have to come. I will send you these things through mail. You please sign it and, courier it, or, electronically upload it. Or do it through digital signatures. Possible? Yeah, it is possible. So therefore, these are the kind of experiences client would like to have. And all these clients, as I said, gone are those days where just because your father, he was a client to your father, he comes to you. No. The loyalty is more and more defined to client by what you have done recently. It's not 1 year back, maybe you would have won a great big case for him. Fine, he is very happy you won a big case 1 year back and he paid you fees. He feels that, for the services what you rendered, I have paid you, account is settled. Yesterday what you have done, somebody else is doing much more than what you are doing. Right? So these are the kind of the challenges, new challenges that we are encountering in our profession. And as they say, the problems are all there. So many problems are there. For all the challenges, whatever I discuss, the solution is only one. Can you integrate technology? Can you embrace technology? As I said, human intelligence plus machine intelligence is a miraculous combination. Can you integrate it? Right? If the answer is yes, then here we go. If you have agreed, yes, I will do it, what are the possibilities? Let's explore the possibilities once you integrate technology. What are the possibilities? Just let's see some of those things. If every day, when you open your office and you close your office, and if you try to look at activities, from opening your office to closing your office, what are the activities you have done? Believe me, if you track it for 8 days, you will be surprised to know 80% of the work, 80% of what you do is repetitive in nature. Power of attorney filled, power of attorney sent to client. Form 35, 36 filled and sent to client. Routine, mundane works. Opening balances checked, some variances checked for audit, routine things. You will be surprised to know 80% of the work are repetitive in nature. What is important is we have to understand that which is repetitive can be automated. What is basically repetitive? What work that you have been doing, if somebody else can see the process and understand and can do it on by himself, that is something which can be automated. For example, power of attorney. Even today, if you are sitting to prepare power of attorney, I think you have not used technology at all. Once you have prepared that format and it is there in your cloud, every time you have to tell the client, tell your article students, download it. Whatever yellow color, you need to change only that. You don't have to get into it. Right? And those variances that you have to do, there are tools available. Take the opening balance, take the closing balance, whatever comparison you have to make. Tools are available. There are variances, there are tools available. Can you enable them and see that what are the variances that are coming, what are the outliers that are coming? If you can focus on those outliers, that's more than sufficient. For example, let us say, in my firm, we do close to 700 returns, which we finished. About 700 individual returns we did. There is a process. First, it is done by article students. second it is verified by managers, and then it comes to a partner. I assume all of you are partners here, partner level people here. So therefore, generally what I have seen is, article student does work, verified no doubt by manager. Next comes very important. As a partner, one of the two things they do. Either they do exactly what manager has done, they verify it from top to bottom, or they trust him so much that they don't verify it. Both are wrong. If you have been doing the same work what manager has been doing, then why at all, then you are no more a manager. How is that you are going to say that you are a partner? So, another thing is, you can't let it go how much ever good your manager is, but at the end of the day something goes wrong, you will be held responsible. So therefore you can't even go to the extreme of saying, I trust this manager, so I let him take the decisions. So what we did in this particular case, while the returns were processed initially by article students, then by managers verified, whatever managers have done for those 600 items, had put it in, it was there in Excel, because they do it because they have to, all of us I'm sure, the returns, you have to upload it, ITRV and all those things. So therefore, we maintain that. What is that sent to client for signature, and whether it is uploaded or not, all those things are there. Even if it is not there, the softwares what we use, you can always retrieve it. I retrieve that information from the software, and I use simple analytic techniques and say that total income, total taxes divided by total income gives us average tax. Average tax was put on a plotter box. You know, it plots dots, dots, dots. You know, X, Y, Z plane, on that it is plotted. So what's great about it? You will find generally from 18% to 27-28% is what generally they pay taxes, all of them. The question is, somewhere it has come 33%, somewhere it has come 43%, somewhere it has come 2%. Go to those things, those returns, and I'm sure you will find some kind of anomaly there. How come 40% taxes has been paid? That is what we call it as outliers. There is a pattern. This dot has come above that pattern or below that pattern. This is the range, below that or above that. Those outliers you identify and go behind that outliers. One is, you will be able to see the sanctity, the work what your manager has done. And tomorrow the manager also has a fear, man, this boss, he looks into it, this partner looks into it. Isn't it? So these are small, small things that we can integrate to make our work more effective, right? So, in fact, one of the things that we did was this particular assignment, where what we had to do was, they had the previous year, we entered a particular year, we became a, that client became a client, recently. But before this, there was a comment in his audit report saying that the fixed asset, verification of fixed, the CARO report, verification of fixed asset was not done in a regular manner, and they were not happy, the previous auditors were not happy with the regularity and the systems that were there for, verifying this fixed asset. And these people were saying, hey, look, it's a data center, 10,000 square feet of data center and 4 floors, 40,000 square feet of data center. They said, see, small items, but they are expensive items. Small items, but expensive items. Sometimes we require it from ground floor to, fourth floor to second floor, and we take it. And every time it becomes challenging for us. So we said, forget all these things. You can't do it humanly. Let's automate it. We did only scanners. In a retail shop, when you go out of retail shop, there are scanners. We just installed those scanners. That's it. Very simple. And any machine, anything that was going out of that room, that scanner used to track it. Going out, it used to track. Something is coming inside, it has gone out of second floor, coming inside fourth floor, it used to track. If it has left the premises also, it used to track, because at a gate, somebody was there to look at it. So the best thing that happened was we were able to identify all the fixed assets, right? So, I mean, all these technology, if you are looking at, is it great rocket science are we discussing? No, it's a simple formula, simple things. Only thing is we have to have that mindset to open up and discuss these things, right? And of course, there are a lot of things we solved, but I do not want to get into it, mainly because of the time consideration. I would not like to do it. But then, is it okay? Right. I think it's flickering. So then, efficiency and economy. That's by integrating how the efficiency increases. This is one particular client we worked. In fact, they send this hospital equipments to house, because they feel that if a patient is treated in his own house, the chances of recovery is more. So therefore, they make that bedroom kind of a hospital setup, and then doctors visit that place twice a day. Like how you find a hospital room, basically, same thing is replicated here, and all the equipments they'll let it out. So that is what is lease it out for a month or something like that. So that is the business model. What happened there was the equipment was there in street A. It was in street A, and the equipment was supposed to be there for 30 days. And then there is a requirement that comes in street B, which is next to street A. And in street B, the requirement is 30 days it is here, but after 31st day, it has to be moved there. Unfortunately, before we integrated this particular solution, what used to happen is, from A street, it used to come back to the godown, and from godown again, it used to, look at the transportation cost that it had to incur. Whereas they had to move from one street to another street, that's it. And we were able to solve it through technology, of course, because we see the minute 30th day a particular equipment is tagged to a particular patient and the requirement of another patient, then it pops up when you require in a new location, it pops up where all you have this equipment and what is the likely date, the equipment is likely to be released by that patient. Again, it's a simple solution that we were able to adopt, and we were able to solve this particular business problem for the client. And of course, we must understand, it's not that healthy balance sheet that gives you a healthy P&L. It's always a healthy P&L which gives you a healthy balance sheet. So we have to do what we have to do to make a healthy P&L, right? And so therefore, how it impacts our P&L, this integrating technology, how it impacts our P&L is yet another thing that came up. One of the client, he came to us on almost a last day. Almost on a last day he comes, and he happened to be very known client, so therefore we had to take up this assignment. But unfortunately, he comes on a last day, there is absolutely no tally at all. He was a transport operator. He was a transport operator. And he says, I need to file the return. How many hours we have? Less than 24 hours we have to file the return. And you think he has a tally? Absolutely no. He doesn't have a tally. And how do you what is the source? He has maintained something in Excel. What are the lorries he has hired, whom he has hired, from whom he has hired, and whom it has been let out. All those things he has put it. And that was there in Excel like this. If you look at something, it comes to about 19,000 and odd rows. Just to give an example. And just imagine if we had to, because with this Excel, you can't make out how much is the profit. We had to put it into Excel. And if you think we have to type it in Excel, if we had to put it in Tally, if we look at, feeding this into Tally, would have taken about 4 days. We don't have so much luxury of that. But then fortunately for us, tools are available. Those tools read it from Excel and they directly take the entries to Tally, right? And within a click of a button, because you need to clean the data, what data they have given, that needs to be cleaned a bit, and then we need to export it to Tally using that particular tool. And these tools are available. In fact, they are all available. And so therefore what happened? In fact, morning he came, by evening, within I think 7-8 hours, we were ready. We were ready with tally. We knew what is the profit, because while Excel didn't give us a profit, to get the profit we had to put it into tally. So therefore, tally gave us the profit and we went ahead and filed the return. Besides this, as I said, the mind, there is a limitation to visualize. As a mind, we can only visualize, it is trained to visualize x-axis and y-axis, 2-dimensional, at best 3-dimensional, z-axis. The minute it becomes more, you can't. 4-dimensional, can you visualize? No, you can't. 5 dimensions, can you visualize? No. Thankfully for us, technology gives these kind of dimensions. You can visualize many dimensions in one particular PPT, which is what we did, one of the assignments that we handled. In fact, in this particular assignment, it was an electricity power generating company. It was one of the MNC power generating company in one of the Gulf region. They procure material from across the world. They procure material from across the world, and those materials they procure, they wanted to know how much of material is procured from, let's say, United States. From United States, from XYZ company, in that how much material has been procured. The material which is procured from United States, is it cheaper than the material purchased from India? I mean, just they want to know. They want to know something they got from Europe, how can I compare it with some other vendor in Europe? It was a huge task. And all that they had was purchase order, which is what is this? All that they had was piles and piles of purchase orders. And they said, Sachin, we want to know this. We want to know whether we are effectively doing this purchases. Please advise us. And if we have to think of, putting it into Excel and doing it, I think would have taken a lot of time. So what we did, we took this, converted into PDF, then from PDF to, again, all these things, if you ask me what are the tools, I tell you, please Google it. You will get many options. In fact, I must tell you, this, this Dasera, we put all the equipments to do puja, right? I'm sure here also you do all the equipments you put, and one of the things we did was, we opened the laptop, we opened Google, and we did puja to Google. Because Google Mata gives us so much of a solution, right? And I was just this morning, I was talking to Sir Rafiq sir, I said, all my knowledge, it's not a structured way of knowledge, sir. I was telling him, it was an honest confession with him. I said, all this knowledge what I acquired is only my Google Mata has taught me. And I have a huge amount of respect for this Google Mata. So therefore I call Google Mata, I never call Google. I mean, it is taking care of. And so therefore, the question is, you find all these tools, how do you convert from this to that? And what came out of this exercise was something phenomenal. This was the results that we were able to achieve. We were able to achieve, if you are looking at, this is a world map. So the dots says which country the particular material is procured. And the color says, I was talking to you dimensions, 1, 2, 3 dimensions, what human being, look at the dimensions here. First dimension, the country from which the material is procured. Second, the color, what material is procured, that is the color, what material is procured. The size of that color determines what quantity is being procured. You're able to get it, what quantity has been procured out of this. And look at all other and from there you can analyze from all these things a particular equipment. If you take that particular equipment across the world, from what all vendors you have procured it and what rate you have procured it. Able to get it? So this complex, and the best part is our deliverables at the end of the day was only this. While piles and piles of data we analyzed, the deliverable that was accepted, which ultimately client paid to us, was only this one PPT. we took something like this, another interesting assignment. There was an investor who had invested in money in India, and he felt that, you know, the person the company where he invested has siphoned off the money. So he had a doubt, and he came to us and he said, can you please help us look at? So then we said, yes, we will look at pattern recognition. Basically what we did was, we took that particular company, and from that company, investee companies, we were able to identify. Of course, we took information available in ROC, and we were able to look at the companies where interested parties are there. All these companies, the link shows interested parties link, right? And the distance shows how much, if they are interested, having 100% of shareholding, then it is close to. And the interest is, you know, only 10%, then they are far. That indicates, you know, the closeness of the interest that this particular thing gives. These are the two deliverables we had. This thing was the fund flow. Fund has gone out green, fund has come in red, and the size of that particular thread determines what is the amount of fund that has gone in or come in, right? So these kind of analytics we will be able to, and this is something, you know, looking at this, anybody will be able to come to a conclusion, reasonable conclusion, that hey, funds have been diverted here. Because closely held companies, of course we did other analytics techniques there, but then just to make even these two things are more than sufficient for us to come to a reasonable conclusion. Look, funds have been diverted from the company in which it is invested, right? So that's the lesson that we are going to learn is very simple. There's always a better way to do anything that you take up, whatever work we are doing it, always there is a better way to do it, right? And so therefore, next couple of slides that I'm going to take you through shows you how, without getting into all these things, basically how you can start integrating technology from the basics, right? So, you know, you have today some of these apps, so to say, or some of the free things that are available on the net, which will help you in your operations. There are a lot of things that will help you in your operations. There are software which will help you in your HR, PR and networking, your revenue management, right? And your research and knowledge, right? Your security. All these things you have a lot of material available in the net. So let's go one by one quickly. For the day-to-day task that you undertake in office, day-to-day task that you undertake. Okay, sorry. The day-to-day task that you undertake in office, believe me friends, if you have done some interesting assignment today, and after 2 years, 3 years, if the similar assignment has to be done again, if you think, oh, that assignment was done by XYZ, but he left the organization, how can I do that assignment? I think one important aspect you have not taken care of is IP of your firm you have not protected. Intellectual property, the work what we do is our intellectual property. It has to be protected. And if a work has been done today, if similar work after 2 months, after 4 months, after 2 years, if we have to do, and now we are scratching our head as to how to do it, I think something fundamentally wrong then. It's just because a person who did that earlier is not there today, so therefore you are not in a position to take up that work. There's something fundamentally wrong the way we operate our firms then. So we need to ensure how these task managements, how this, you know, our intellectual property is stored. It's very important, right? In fact, some of the things that, these are some of the system that we have in our organization, but then those of you who want to look at managing their tasks, you know, you can look at this Google Calendar, of course. You can use that Google Calendar to manage the task, but then if you don't have your own store, I mean, if you want to store the data, then you can look at Google, you know, Dropbox, where you can folder wise you can put those things and then retrieve it at a later point of time. All these things you can look at I mean, of course, to begin with, as I said, to begin with, fundamental things which are available free on net. To begin with, if you can just integrate it, later on you can start moving it, having your own cloud, your own things and all those things. This is only to give you a flare that, these are the things, challenges are there. How can we mitigate using technology which is very, very inexpensive? Right? You have something like Wunderlist you have. Wunderlist, in fact, when I say all these things, you download it and see these things. Phenomenally, it will help you in taking care of your offices, managing your office effectively. Right? Most of the time, at least 10 to 15 days in a month, I'm outside, but entire my organization, my office runs on these kind of apps or these kind of a technology platform that we have in our office, right? And another thing, the errors that happens in organization, those errors we prompt them to log in without mentioning the name. Those errors we prompt them to log in. The only reason they have to put it in their in a particular Excel is that we analyze at the end of the day, at the end of 1 month or 2 months, predominantly what are the errors that we find. Or there has been backup issues are there, so therefore we focus that particular month on these backup issues. Or there were issues on frequent mails not going to client, the complaint from client, the focus goes that particular week or that particular month on addressing these issues, so that we have a robust, this is what is called ticketing system, those issues, those ticketing systems that you can, if you think you can develop that particular ticketing system. Look at this is startling to see 90% of the business information still exists on paper. And 20 to 40% of the workers' time is invested in searching these documents. More than anything else, if the minute you have a paper, you have a real estate cost, which is their last item. So all these things, the solution you have is, you have to change the way you look at. You have to move into cloud, right? You have to move into cloud. And these are some of the things that, how data that I was suggesting to store, store it in Dropbox and Google Drive for later retrieval. Even after 2 years or 3 years, if you have to retrieve, you can retrieve it and do the same assignment effectively next time. And as I was telling you, this Google Mata key, right? Google Matas, how do you use this particular thing? Do you use it right way? Please look into it. If you have to do a research on private trust, you say private trust, and you know what happens in Google? It gives all the document which has got private. Also it gives all the document which gives trust. We don't want that. We want to do a research on private trust, taxation of private trust. Put that under : private trust and search. You get that private trust. The document which has got a private trust, a single word, you get it, right? You want to do a research on tax havens. The minute you put tax havens, you have all the information about all the 50 tax havens in the country. So you get all the information. But you are expert in, you know what is happening in Mauritius. You don't want anything about Mauritius. Can you therefore say tax havens minus Mauritius? You get details of all the tax havens minus Mauritius, right? You want to do a case law research which has got either deduction or exemption. If you put deduction, exemption, you get, again, as I said, all the things you get. I want either deduction or exemption. If you can use that operator or in caps and with that inverted comma, you get documents which has got either deduction or exemption. And I don't know, in fact, I'm sure you all relate with it when I tell my son, hey, it happened. I said, why don't you open ICAI website? Generally, if I were to ask, I go to a browser and type ICAI.org. And this you see, all the youngsters, they go to Google. They go to Google to open it. Go to Google, put ICAI and try to open it. Yeah, that's fine. But what is important is if you want to directly go to, let's say, ICAI ethics column, in that page. So if you can use this site : ICAI or .org ethics, it straight away takes you to that particular page, right? And You are preparing for a presentation on tax audit. So you don't want anything but only presentations you want, PPTs you want. So use this, file type, :PPT and tax audit within. You get all the documents which has got PPTs on tax audit, so that your research becomes easier. And you know, if you are doing a research on some mergers, what has happened mergers during 8, 9 or 10, 11 or 15, 16 and all those things. Because if you simply say mergers, then all the information from maybe 10, 20 years you will get, but I don't want all those things. What mergers has happened between 8 and 9 or between 15 and 16? If you can say mergers 2008 ... 2009, you get information about the mergers which has happened during this particular time frame. And surprisingly, I see, while your computer is there in front of you and some client asks for some calculation, what is the tax, you know, you look for calculator still. You don't have to do it. Google is a calculator. Right? You have a computer, you have a Google, you can use it as a calculator. So don't look for calculator. Right? So this is as far as operations. And HR. You know, while there is a traditional way of hiring people still, but believe me, you have to look at hiring people through this Naukri.com, and LinkedIn is very popular where people go through. It's very important, therefore we have to update our profiles in LinkedIn. One. Second, as an employer, you better register in this Naukri.com and all those things. Why? You may say, I may not require, I anyway get it, I don't want this, it's very expensive. Hey, not that you want to hire, you want this Naukri.com, because at least you will know who from your firm has applied for job outside. Right? Important for us to know, right? So that you can take a corrective action. So this is, and again you have, once you track the time of the people who are working, very important is you will be able to analyze how they work. In fact, how much ever you put CCTV, you go there, watch, you cannot control them. But the best way you can control employee working is through analytics. Believe me, when this is what we run every month in our organization. We don't scold people, we don't say anything to them, we simply run this particular thing. Of course, their names are there for blurred, this we run. What we found out in this particular thing, they were all there, they were able to see and find out the color indicates what type of a work they have done. Color indicates what type of a work they have done and to whom they have done, all these things. And the man hours, the size indicates the man hours. One particular person found to have spent 18 hours in filling Form 49A. So it was just shown, and standing from here, I was able to see that person's head went down in shame. I think I achieved it. What we were set out to achieve, I think we achieved it. We would not have achieved it if I'd called him, shouted at him, and all these things would not have. And you know, today they become very emotional and self-respect, so they resign and go, and all these things are there. Every data has a story to tell, and this data told that story. This is through, we have, of course, there are 2-3 softwares we use. Basically, this particular thing was done through Tableau. Tableau.
How is the data captured? Then capturing is a form.
Yeah, capturing is, we have that ticketing system and all those things what we said. You know, every day they have to, before they leave, they have to fill in the data. I mean, data of how much hours they have worked and on what client they have worked and what is the nature of the work, client, how many hours they have worked, because they have to clock in 45 hours in a week. They have to fill. They can't play around too much. Maybe here and there 5-10% they can do, but they can't play around on this particular thing more. So I think I'll take, yeah, work from home. Today, knowledge, sir, how much time I have? Sorry.
10 minutes.
Okay, 10 minutes. I'll wind up in 10 minutes. Today, people in knowledge industry, like yours, our knowledge industry, people do not like to be confined to four corners of a room and work. They want to work in wherever they want to sit in Goa and work. See, what is the problem for you? You have to get the work done. And if wherever they want to sit and do it, there are tools available for you to connect. So when tools are available, allow them to work from home. So what is the advantage? Allow them to work from home. 45% of the people, this is a survey result, 45% of the people got more sleep because you allowed them to work from home. 35% got more exercise, they become healthy. So who is going to benefit? Obviously you. 42% ate healthier things, right? So this is one of the survey results that came out. So it is possible to, if you open up yourself to integrate technology into the work that you do, right? So, and you know, once you raise a bill, this is something, again, some of the things, when you have sent a proposal, you track it. Simply you track the proposal, whether it is rejected, accepted, and all those things, simply track it. What is important is at the end of 1 month, 2 months, at the end of the year, if you analyze, you get to know out of 100 proposals that you have sent, how many have been accepted, how many have been rejected, and the reason why it has been rejected. Very important for us. If out of that more than 50% have rejected just because, you know, you have the more than 50% have been rejected because you have quoted more, you can take corrective action, right? So therefore there are various things that you will be able to do if you are able to you know, have these kind of a systems. Of course, then client satisfaction. Have you been using this Google survey forms? Because at the end of the day you have to know whether client is satisfied with your services or not. Why don't you send a Google survey form and see, elicit clients satisfaction. All these things doesn't really cost you at all. So, I mean, of course, these are the things I think I will skip because of the want of time. You can using technology, you know, webinars. For example, the knowledge sharing that happens in our office, I think it is most cost-effective way it happens in our organization. Because most of the time, every week we have knowledge sharing sessions on Saturdays or Friday evenings or Saturday mornings, and it happens through webinar. Hardly it costs us anything. And we have GoToMeeting. This morning, I went out at 11 o'clock just to take a, you know, we had a core committee meeting within our office. We have a core committee, so 8 of the partners, we get together every month. And we do it, GoToMeeting. We have used the app called GoToMeeting, and we log in and we do our meetings there and come out. I mean, we don't meet every month, but what is supposed to have done, we do it. And the laws are becoming digital friendly, so therefore e-assessments, I'm sure many of you have been facing this e-assessments. So therefore all these things, if you open up yourself, I think there is a phenomenal thing that that can happen. And of course, I'll straight away go to knowledge applications, these professional learning apps you have. If you can download these apps, I think you know, you can stay updated. And Mr. Babu Jayendran was mentioning about Coursera and Khan Academy. You can enroll yourself and take up some courses, upgrade your knowledge. I think they've beautifully, any concept you look at, Khan Academy or Coursera, I think they've beautifully analyzed those things, and they make you understand. And there is, you know, a test that you have to take for you to test, you know, test whether you have understood the concept or not. You need to take the test. You need to pass it, only then you get that certificate, right? So therefore you can enable people in your organization to, you know, do these things, right? Okay. So what I do is, yes, so these are all some of the things that we have. And of all the things, I would rather look at it. Of course, this is one of the things I always would like to say, that we need to differentiate our firm. Let it, all of our things, you know, we are doing so much of a work. We are so good at the subject knowledge. We are good at how businesses are happening. The only thing is we need to just open our minds to embrace this technology. I think then we can stand out as outstanding professionals in this country, or for that matter, the world at large. So what is important therefore is to embrace that technology, right? This is one aspect of it. Second aspect of it is, besides when we talk about technology, you should not be leaving out this social media. You have to understand it's very, very powerful tool. If today an article student has to come and join you, he would have seen the firm's rating in the social media. Without your knowledge, the student community would have been talking about how good the firm is, how bad the firm is. There are portals. So therefore, you need to be very good at the social media, right? So, as I said, I just don't have much time to discuss about it. So therefore, I'll just think of taking this last thing, just last film, to understand the impact of this social media. So friends, as I started my talk, and I said, it's not that it's healthy. It's not that a healthy balance sheet gives rise to a healthy P&L. It's always a healthy P&L that gives rise to a good balance sheet, right? And to make our P&L healthy, we need to invest in technology. We need to integrate technology into a practice. Thank you so much.
You can take one or two.
Yeah, sure.
Anybody have any question? One or two question we can take shortly. Yes, quickly.
Yeah, sure.
Different type of question. You are showing this presentation on PowerPoint.
No, it's not a PowerPoint.
You are zooming.
Prezi.
Huh?
It is Prezi. P-R-E-Z-I.
P-R-E-Z-Y.
Z-I.
Z-I.
Prezi. Yeah. Sure.
I think you had one of the part on the security.
Yeah.
Can you cover that in couple of minutes, if possible?
Yeah, in fact, what I wanted to say was, in
Because
fact,
that's one subject which we missed out because of the lack of time. But if you have, a few minutes, if you can spend on the security, we can definitely love to hear.
Especially
Yeah.
for small and medium-sized practitioners.
Like how
You
we
can
can
Yeah.
protect ourselves
yeah,
from the
correct.
security
You
aspect.
know, again, all these things on a very fundamental level. First thing, what I wanted to say in that was, the minute we talk about cloud, the first thing, the question that they raise is, cloud, what is the security of the data? These are some of the questions that they raise. If this is what is the question you people have, cloud, what's the security? Then let us give. Yep, correct.
Yes.
So
Apart from getting into the cloud.
yeah, protecting, that's exactly, whether it is cloud here, protection of the data is what is important. This is important from many angles. One of the thing is if you're doubting the cloud and the security out there, then if you have money, if you put it in a bank, what's the guarantee that bank will not become bankrupt? So what's the solution therefore? Solution is then, olden days they used to dig a pit in a house and keep all the money. Can we do that? No. Still we go and deposit in bank. So the thing is, therefore that is one aspect. And second aspect is, as I said, fundamentally buy licensed softwares. You don't get into this free software, something is available free and all those things. Please don't do that. Don't buy this free software. If it's a Microsoft, any software for that matter, please pay it and buy it because it gives, you will be having a lot of peace because through this downloaded software, free softwares comes a free guest, which will take, if out of, they can completely block your account and they can take away all your data and then they ask you to pay ransom to release this, all those things, you have seen. So therefore, invest on this. And in fact, fortunately for us, whether it is Google or for that matter, Microsoft, all of these, they believe in democratizing these softwares. Yesterday we were discussing, they democratize these softwares, so therefore all these softwares are coming at a very inexpensive. So therefore we need to use on these softwares, invest on these softwares. Yeah, I'll just complete this. Then, for that matter, even they said that Pentagon's security was also hacked. So there is a possibility to hack on. There are some simple things that you have to take care. When somewhere you have to open an account, generally you give your official account. Don't give your official account to open. And second, when you are opening an account, the password generally you give is the Google password, which we regularly use. So therefore that Google password is given everywhere. Don't do all these things. If Google password is for that, if for official, you have some official mail ID and a password. For personal things, you have personal thing and password. So don't try to club. Let there be a Chinese wall between these two things. It's very important, right? And the, your firewalls and all these things, it looks like, mine is a small office. Whatever your office, we are getting into digital world. And sitting from, remotest corner, they can hack into your data and they can, the data can, it can happen, anything may happen. So therefore, you will have to take care to invest on all these things, good softwares, antiviruses, your firewalls, all these things you will have to invest and then get the audit done. As much as you do audit of your clients' accounts, your system accounts, systems have to be audited by a consultant, by an external agency. to see how secure your systems are, right? So these are some of the things I just wanted to share in that particular slide. Sir, please.
Sir, right now it is saying that to secure the data of the departmental, means income tax department or GSTN, they are regularly using the one password, one phone number, one email address, which authorization is not, means using of digital signature. Others digital signature which we keep for the client, we keep it with us and we do it signed by through our IP address. But this is not being secured, means this is getting, means this is not a legal thing to be done. So what is the advice for you for the small firms to do for this? PIN and the email, the digital signatures, how to deal with this thing?
So passwords and pins.
Because everything is their mobile number is related to one mobile number for one PIN department is. So how to deal with these kinds of things? Because you cannot deal it because you have to file the returns for your client. You have to get a digital sign for your client. But for digital, there is no authorization is required. Means there is no legal transfer authorization of the digital signature. But we are using it through our IP address. If the client says that it is not used with his consent, then I am in Takafal with the legal authority. So what is the remedy for the small practitioners? What is the that we can take help of? Say for
Sir, first of all, what we do, of course, it's small or large organizations. We don't give our own data while filing all these things. That we have stopped. It is only client data that we give. Client email ID, client phone number is what is given to him, and he gets all the notices or whatever SMSs and all those things.
But PIN is held for 1 minute or 2 minutes. How to contact is for authentication, any authentications or anything to purpose. The PIN is valid for 1 minute.
Correct. You are absolutely right.
We have to call that customer to sit beside me and
Not, you can call up. In fact, that is
it's not because when you call him up, basically he's acting his email address and also he's handling both things. Simultaneously at time you think that the time is getting less.
Sir, you have anything for this particular, because I shared what we are doing it. In fact, absolutely, we have this issue, but in our firm, we have completely stopped the idea of giving our numbers. We don't do that at all.
But digital signature, digitally signing it.
Digital signature, of course, that digital signatures are there in a safe custody. You are right.
It is our custody, but it is using our IP. It may be used by my article or anyone. So tracing this
Sir,
IP, if the client emails that it is not used by his IP, it can be against me also. No?
it can be, therefore, there has to be a process that we have set in our organization.
That's
I can, yeah,
taking authorization. Because, taking the digital signature, if I say the other time what we did, we take the authorization from the client and we sign on his behalf. But there is no authority to digitally sign by my digital signature on his behalf. I have to sign it by his digital signature. So on the legal terms, I cannot use his digital signature because it is a fraud. It's a fraud. If I use his digital signature,
correct. No, I got your point, sir. So I can just share what this thing we are following in our organization is that the document which has to be signed by him, the document is sent and he approves and he sends it to us, the first level of verification. And same document, we have digital signature, no doubt. The client digital signature is not with the client; it is there with us, and that is with IT department in our organization. Maybe you may consider it as a partner's level. It is there with a partner, and the person who has to go and get that article student, let us say, he should have got approval from his reporting manager, and reporting manager says this particular work is over and it has to be, and it is verified, client has approved, there are those yardsticks which has to be checked and signed, then the authority will be given to that article student to use that. So therefore, while client's approval is there on the document and appropriate systems are there in the organization, so we go ahead and upload using his digital signature.
That's why I'm saying, sir, when I'm going through the normal procedure, I am taking my all steps to safeguard that digital signature. But in forensic classes, we are taught that do not love your customer or clients. So that time he may be saying that you sign on behalf of get my digital signature, but if something goes wrong, he may sue me that my digital signature was filed without taking his consent. For everything signing, there is no mechanism, no legal
Correct, sir.
available.
Correct, sir. If you have seen the process what I mentioned, sir, in the first mail he accepts that this thing is approved by him. So therefore he cannot come back and say that is not approved by him. Yeah. Sir, anything sir would be in a position.
What you do for legal compliance is illegal. Yes, as to the law.
customer is not agreeing to come to our office right now. They
Yeah,
are
yeah,
all
you're right.
But
Sir, may I say?
Adopting shortcuts, there's always a certain distance, you have to take the responsibility.
Sir,
Don't worry, in India, there are not many clients pursuing it. I will take indemnity insurance also.
yes, I was saying that also.
During breakfast class, we will take
Immunity.
I suggest to take indemnity.
Sir, that also how much, what level you can take, because they will say that there was a fault on your head.
No, see, you are unnecessarily panicking about things which may happen in the future. So far, you have survived. Don't worry, you will survive, continue to survive. Okay.
Friends, even for this, my input may be that even when the ROC form or any form is being uploaded, that something we chartered accountant can upload, then that can be remote accessible by our client, and he can attach the digital signature from his office, and then we can put our signature. That type of way, if that is implemented, then this can be the solution of this type of problem. So, any last question we can take? No question? Yes.
You were saying that now we make payments by purchases from the sitting in the comfort of our room. You said this. Now 15, 20 years ago we used to hear that if somebody used to pay through credit card, etc., suddenly a credit card bill of 10 times, 15 times used to come because of some fraud. Now almost every transaction is being done through online banking or credit card. OTP comes, etc. Are these totally safe now, or still there is a chance of hacking and fraud?
These are all definitely, the chances are there for those fraudsters to hack and play around with this, definitely. But as the technology is evolving, people are also evolving their skill sets. They are coming out with modern ways of, different ways of, cheating people. So therefore, it's continuous. As long as, good people are there, they say bad people are also there, right? So this is never-ending story. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Friends, the technology has changed the way the client will approach us. The technology has changed the way we will provide our financial service, and even the technology has changed the way we will receive our payment also. So with these words, I would request everybody put your hands together to Sachin ji, and request our past chairman to please come forward to facilitate him. May I now request a representative from Mark Software to please for a short presentation, please.